YouTube, what is up? Here on another episode, back-to-back days of the Fantasy Football Perspective. I'm your host, Lucas. Thanks for tuning in for another video. Before we get started, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It's free, helps the channel grow. And drop a like. Please drop a like. I know it sounds like I'm begging, but the more likes that we get on videos, the more likelihood it hits like the home page and people can actually click on it and find it. Appreciate the support so far. Today's video, it's going to be a little bit different than what we have in the past. I feel like I've been given a lot of advice lately on kind of how to draft, who I think is a good draft. Today we're going to dig in to some training camp news and kind of where I would go with that news, because our redraft leagues are coming up, the drafts are coming up, and it's time to start deciphering what to do with all this news. I think there's 5 or 6 big stories out right now that actually have some meaning. Takes players off my board, it adds players back to my board. Where do you go from here? Like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate all the support. Hit that intro. Welcome back. So here we are. I got 7 actually news stories. 6, my bad. 6 news stories that I want to touch base on that I feel like is important at this point in fantasy season. For anyone who's been doing mock drafts, we're going to start off with this Saquon Barkley story. If you don't know, I'm sure you do. If you're in the fantasy football world, Saquon had ACL surgery. As an athletic trainer, I've worked with 60 to 100 ACLs. I usually get my ACL patients about 3 months into their rehab. They can come back to full competition anywhere from 6 months to a year. With that ACL, though, it usually is still healing up to a year, so there is weakness. The issues when it comes with an ACL injury is actually the re-tear rates. Depending on what literature that you read, you have a 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 chance of either re-tearing that ACL or tearing your opposite ACL from just, modifications that your body's going to make after tearing that ligament. With that being said, I was getting a little nervous of Saquon Barkley because the news wasn't staggering. They added him to the PUP list. They said he's not going to play till week 3. You see his ADP in these mock drafts going down lower and lower. You can get him at the 9th, 10th pick now. And I was still saying that might be of a reach. Something's not going right with his rehab. Well, finally, some positive news out of the New York Giants camp. Saquon Barkley off the PUP list and beginning practice. Makes me think that people are just kind of reacting to the Saquon Barkley situation and just putting these stories out about week 3 return without having really any insight into the situation. We knew that they were going to take it slow. But hey, if Saquon Barkley, as they're saying in this story, may play in a preseason game, he should be ready to go by week 1, which really raises my chances of kind of trying to draft him this year in our redraft leagues, because some people will still be scared to draft him. So you might get a heck of a discount on him, and he has league-winning upside as we saw in his rookie year. So Saquon Barkley added back to my board. He was completely off of it, even dropping down to that 9th, 10th pick overall. But if he's getting to that 9th, 10th pick overall now, practicing fully, plays in a preseason game, sign me up. All right, moving on to some news out of the LA Raiders camp. Darren Waller, consensus top 3 tight end, has missed the last 5 practice, and it's kind of undetermined why he's missing. I'm not doing much with this story. John Gruden has been interviewed countless times about it. He doesn't seem concerned. If you don't know Darren Waller's background, he did have some drug addiction problems. He had some problems in the past, some mental health issues. With that being said, there may be some times throughout the preseason and stuff where he just gets a little bit more time to recover mentally and back on the line. There might be another injury underneath of everything too. Who knows? But John Gruden's not even confirming whether the absence is injury related or something happened mentally. Either way, I expect Darren Waller to bounce back, have a great season. I'm still drafting him as a top 3 tight end. If he falls to me at the end of the third round, sign me up. Hope he's doing all right out there. He's a heck of a player. Target, monster in that offense. Him and Derek Carr have a thing going. Sign me up. Don't let this scare you. This doesn't seem like it's anything to be worried about. Dak Prescott, shoulder already getting some light throwing. Listen, he has a muscle strain. It's a lat strain. I don't think it's anything to be considered serious. This isn't like a torn ligament or a sprain. Once this muscle strain kind of goes away, starts healing, he's not gearing back into throwing too quickly, he should be good to go. If Dak Prescott and the Cowboys kind of repeat what they did last year where their defense is making them fall behind in games so much, expect Dak Prescott to just light opposing defenses up again once they fall into that prevent defense. They made some improvements to their defense this year, but still, Micah Parsons, rookie. I think they brought in a corner. Still don't think it's going to be a huge upgrade in the defense. They're still going to be playing from behind a lot. And that offense is high-powered as ever. Still have all the same weapons. 3 great wide receivers, a great running back, 2 decent to good tight ends. He should get his numbers, and he always has that rushing ability. The ankle looks great. Everything that I've read says he's not favoring the other ankle. He's not avoiding anything with that ankle. I think you can monitor this as on an as-needed basis, but I truly don't think it's anything to be worried about. So Dak Prescott's still on my board. If he's there in the 5th, 6th round, he's worth drafting. This was kind of a surprise news out of the Jacksonville Jaguars camp. DJ Chark, random surgery on his finger for a hairline fracture. People come back quick from this, especially receivers. He's getting drafted at the wide receiver 79, apparently. This is what that says. That's in the 7th or 8th round. You're getting a potential number 1 receiver on his team in the 7th and 8th round. That is a complete steal, even with this news. Hopefully it pushes him back even farther. Keep DJ Chark on your radar at that discount. I mean, if you can get a wide receiver 1 on their own team that late into the draft, that has wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 potential at that value. That's a big sleeper. I'm definitely going to be targeting him in some rounds. Would not worry about this injury. All right, Michael Thomas. This one's kind of scary. After Michael Thomas had the surgery, I told you guys he was off my board because he's going to miss 3 to 6 games already. Once you get fantasy football seasons going to week 15, that's missing almost half of your season. He's still getting drafted in the 4th and 5th round, which is just too high to be missing that many games. Now, there's reports saying that he came out, failed to return phone calls to the organization. Who knows who's saying what? He had some cryptic tweet today about how they're trying to ruin, or the Saints are trying to ruin his image. It's just not a good situation. The only thing that I could see that could raise kind of my likelihood of potentially maybe reaching for him in the 5th and 6th round if he's there is if he gets traded to a better situation. I mean, there's rumors that he might get traded to the Jaguars. The Jaguars want to get rid of their 1st-round corner they drafted last year. Henderson, I think is his last name. C.J. Henderson out of Florida. The Saints need another corner. It seems like a pretty no-brainer situation. Getting a 1st-round corner for Michael Thomas, an aging receiver. It's pretty good value, honestly. I don't know how the money works, but it seems pretty good value to me. If he did go to the Jaguars, I think his stock goes up. I love Lawrence. I love his arm. I love the weapons they have there. They can't double cover Michael Thomas. He should thrive in that offense. Reunited with Urban Meyer. Keep an eye on that. I can see him getting traded soon. His value's not as high to other teams right now after this surgery. And this just total team chemistry situation. So pay attention to this. If everything stays put, though, he is off my board for redraft. I'm not reaching for that. And last but not least, Justin Jefferson. I think he might be off my board. I know the news seems positive, is what they're saying, but an AC sprain is not a easy thing to come back from. Your likelihood of doing that again is super high. Wide receivers dive, dip. They hit that shoulder so many times throughout the year. Unless he's wearing a brace or something, no protection there, it's probably going to happen again. An AC sprain is what actually kept Christian McCaffrey out once he came back from his high ankle sprain last year over the last 5 or 6 weeks, because it just kept happening and happening. There really hasn't been any news out of the Vikings camp to how severe it is. With an AC sprain, you have kind of 3 or 4 different kind of grades that it can be. Grade 1 just being you stretched the ligament in there, or stretched the joint, excuse me. The second one is that you stretched it with a little bit of displacement, and as you keep going in grades, the more displacement there is, where the worst case scenario is if the clavicle is actually like sitting under the shoulder joint itself, and that requires surgery. I don't think it's that bad. I think he avoided anything like that. And they're saying a minor injury, but even this minor injury is going to hamper. He's a wide receiver. He's still getting drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round. I just think there's safer options where he's getting drafted. He still could have a heck of a season, but the risk assessment of where you're going to have to draft him for season long doesn't really add up to what you want it to. He's getting drafted around receivers like Keenan Allen, who's in a great situation. DK Metcalf, who's in a great situation. Just these guys I think are just a little bit safer. Don't have that injury liability this year. It just sucks because I was really high on Justin Jefferson. I was taking him in a bunch of my mock drafts in the early 3rd round, and now I kind of have to go elsewhere. But that's all I have today. A little bit shorter video. Leave a comment. Tell me your opinion on some of these guys, what you think what the teams are going to do with them. Are you going to draft any of these guys? Just let me know if there's anything else that you guys would want me to cover. I appreciate all the support so far. Back-to-back videos this week. I don't know when we'll come out with another one. But yeah, I hope you all have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Peace.